These right here are two Canadian YouTubers named Jordan and Johnny, who in April of 2021 uploaded a chilling video titled Scary Paranormal Activity at the Sinister Farm to their channel, The Paranormies. Their channel primarily focuses on paranormal investigations, and they frequently document footage of themselves exploring various haunted locations around the world. In this particular video, Jordan and Johnny decided to investigate an abandoned farmhouse situated in a remote part of Steinbach, Canada. According to the explorers, they had recently been contacted by a couple about a farmhouse that is said to be haunted. Built after World War II, the farm has been actively linked with paranormal activity, with multiple reports of strange occurrences and sightings of ghostly apparitions. The locals in the area have claimed that the farmer who initially owned and lived in the house always used to leave during the night and would only return in the morning. Sadly, one day the farmer, as always, left during the night but never returned to the farm again. Over the past 80 years, the farm has been owned by multiple farmers, but none of them have remained in the house for more than 2 years. The couple who reached out to the explorers had indeed lived on the farm and reported several strange occurrences. During their stay on the farm, the couple was in the top floor bedroom when they started hearing distinct voices, and when they looked toward the window, they saw someone peeking in at them, indicating that whoever was out there had to have been as tall as the house, or somehow be flying next to the window. The couple, since that bizarre encounter, immediately abandoned the farm and have never gone back, which is why they contacted the explorers to investigate the haunted farmhouse. Jordan and Johnny agreed to visit the farm and investigate the truth behind these claims. As the duo began their investigation, they arrived at the farm in the middle of the night. They initially explored the surrounding areas, checking for any signs of activity and searching for a way to enter the farmhouse. However, while searching for an entrance, that's when their camera captured something truly disturbing.
It just looks absolutely terrifying. It wouldn't have been that window.
No,
right,
because yeah, it was the one facing the barns, right?
Yeah, that's right. This place, all the glass is shattered and stuff.
So it's got to be that window.
It'd be that window, barn.
Upstairs,
Shine the light back here. Yo, Johnny.
What?
Yeah, there's a barn back there. Oh, I can't really see it on my camera. So yeah, it would have been that window. She saw the figure creeping in.
If you look closely at the point when the explorers looked at the top floor, you can clearly see a hand reaching out of the window. And just moments later, the hand is pulled back inside. Disturbingly, this was the same bedroom window where the couple claimed to have seen someone peeking in at them. However, the explorers were completely unaware of this detail at the time. It wasn't until they uploaded the video that their viewers noticed the hand reaching out of the window. The duo, oblivious to this detail, eventually entered the house and began their investigation. During this time, they went upstairs to the bedroom but didn't notice the hand or any other sign of paranormal activity. They then decided to go back down to investigate further. However, as soon as they went downstairs, that's when they made a shocking discovery.
We should set up a camera in here and a camera downstairs and start doing a test.
Yeah, all right.
I know, man. These stairs are so steep.
All right. I guess we can set up a camera.
Yeah, set one up in that corner and set one up in this room by this bathroom too, I think. What?
I heard something footsteps.
There it is.
That's definitely a knock.
Can you knock again if that was you? There it is. I'm gonna go check. Hang on. Oh man, it's so freaky. Nothing. Unless it came from here. No, I don't know.
After the explorers heard the knock, they listened intently and stared in the direction of the sound. They eventually called out and went upstairs to investigate, but despite searching everywhere, they found nothing that could have caused the noises. Unsure whether the knock was paranormal or simply something falling from the ceiling, the explorers went back down to conduct a sensory deprivation test and find out if the farm was truly haunted or not.
So we're gonna try doing a sensory deprivation here. We got this camera and this camera. We heard some noises coming from this area while we were kind of just setting up the cameras and...
You know, I just noticed it's kind of weird that
What?
this entire house is destroyed. The mirror is completely intact, so whoever like destroyed is kind of superstitious.
That is true. I didn't even think of that.
But anyways, yeah.
Okay,
All right.
you're good to go. If you're the one who scared that couple off, can you make a noise for us? Or give Jordan some answers?
Boy. Johnny,
Did you hear that? What was
I
that?
heard something.
It was this light bulb, dude.
A light bulb.
Look. Oh my God.
That wasn't already there?
No.
Hello?
It's evident that the light bulb mysteriously falls on its own, which startles the explorers. After this chilling encounter, the duo attempted to rationalize and make sense of what they had just witnessed, but they unfortunately couldn't come up with a logical explanation. As a result, they decided to resume their sensory deprivation test to see if anything else would occur, but this time they encountered nothing unusual. The explorers then decided to conduct another test known as the table tipping. For anyone unfamiliar with this term, table tipping is a method of communicating with spirits by asking questions and observing the table's movement. The explorers, upon making this decision, placed the table in the middle of the room and started conducting the test. However, as soon as they began the test, that's when things started to take a turn for the worse for the two explorers.
Okay, here, take this camera. And I'll grab this camera. And then let's
Table tipping.
yeah, I kind of want to just show.
Is that what it's called?
It's called table tipping, yeah.
It is? Okay. I didn't know if I had like an official name or something.
Okay, yeah, so I kind of want to set up a camera in that corner there, and I want to set up a camera either in this corner or... Stop.
Dude, what was that?
What? Jordan.
What?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
To the explorers' absolute shock, the table inexplicably flipped and started moving aggressively. Terrified for their lives, they immediately ran out of the room. To make matters even more disturbing, the explorers later mentioned that just moments before they noticed the table moving, they had heard footsteps running down the stairs. Disturbingly, it does sound like footsteps running down the stairs. If this actually were the case, then this encounter becomes even more alarming, especially since the table started moving as soon as the footsteps ended, indicating that whoever or whatever just ran down the stairs was somehow responsible for the table's movement. After this bizarre encounter, the explorers initially ran off, but they did go inside and went upstairs to comprehend what they'd just witnessed. Fortunately for the explorers, things calmed down after a while and they decided to leave the house and investigate the barn. The explorers then went inside the barn and started their investigation. However, as they were investigating, that's when they encountered something once again.
Is that you who flipped the table? Is it Jordan?
Can you say Jordan's name back, or can you say my name? My name's Johnny. Can you tell us if necrophonic is real? And if it is, we want to know, did you flip that table? Is necrophonic real? So it sounded like it said. What was that? That's what that was.
You throw a box and you say yes, you threw the box. You make something else move.
After the explorers noticed a bottle being thrown, they immediately looked toward the commotion, and just moments later, they noticed a box being thrown in the same way. The explorers immediately went towards the commotion to investigate, but once again, they found nothing that could have thrown the objects with such force. After yet another shocking encounter, the explorers had no interest in investigating further, and they eventually decided to end their investigation and leave the farm. It's still a mystery how the table started moving aggressively or how the objects had been thrown with such force, along with the mystery of whether what Johnny and Jordan encountered that night was paranormal. But based on what the explorers witnessed on the farm, the only explanation that comes to mind is that whoever was present inside didn't want them there. The explorers were initially met with strange noises and loud bangs, which did startle them, but they didn't leave. They were then met with the table flipping and moving aggressively, which did scare them, but they still didn't leave. Instead, they went to the barn to further investigate. Finally, they were met with the objects being thrown, which ultimately scared them and sent them out of the farm. However, none of these claims regarding the paranormal have been verified or debunked and are merely based on what the explorers witnessed during their visit. Consequently, it is up to you to decide if what Johnny and Jordan encountered that night was truly paranormal or an elaborate hoax.
No, I don't know. Oh, I almost fell. Oh, did you just fall?
I just fell, yeah.
If you've enjoyed the video so far, it would mean a lot if you considered subscribing. Over 95% of you watching haven't subscribed yet. Your support really helps the channel grow, and in return, I promise to keep bringing you guys the best quality content. Now let's get back to the video. In June of 2022, a YouTuber named Alex uploaded a terrifying video titled "Exploring a Haunted Nun's Convent" to his channel Hunting the Unknown. His channel primarily focuses on paranormal investigation, and he often shares footage of his experiences investigating various haunted locations throughout the UK. In this particular video, Alex decided to explore an abandoned nun convent situated in the southern part of England. According to Alex, the building was constructed during the 1800s and operated as a nun's convent. However, part of the building was converted into a mental asylum during the early 20th century. Over the years, numerous patients tragically passed away due to mysterious circumstances. As a result, the building was abandoned during the late 1900s. Since then, it has been linked to paranormal activity and is said to be haunted. Despite its dark history, Alex set out to explore the haunted nun convent alone in the middle of the night. As Alex began his investigation and stepped inside the building, he immediately noticed its eerie atmosphere and mentioned that it was unlike anything he'd explored before. As part of the investigation, he had brought various ghost hunting equipment to capture or identify anything he might otherwise overlook. During the initial minutes of his investigation, he began explaining the building's history to his viewers. However, as he was talking, that's when he encountered something extremely disturbing.
It's very dangerous to walk around in the dark, as you can tell. But yeah, a little place about this history about this place. So we're in an old 1800s a nun's convent. So pretty much and has a lot of paranormal activity, but it's meant to be haunted by a nun. So hope we can make some communication here and see what we can get. So guys, gonna see when let's do this. Guys, this place is very spooky, and I'm literally on my own. So. Hello, is anyone here? Would anyone like to come forward and communicate with me? Is there anyone here?
After Alex heard voices coming from the building, he suspected that a squatter or homeless individual might be hiding inside. He then went towards the noise to investigate and called out several times. Unfortunately, he found nothing that suggested anyone was inside the building. As a result, he pulled out his K2 meter and began investigating. During this time, his K2 meter did register some readings, but Alex didn't think too much of them. He then went upstairs to investigate further. However, this is when he encountered something once again.
Hello, is anyone here? Am I taking pictures? What was that? What the was that? There's someone here with me. Can you make a noise? Hello?
After Alex heard the knock, he immediately stepped out of the room and went towards the noise to investigate the source. But despite searching everywhere, he found nothing that could have caused those noises. By this point, Alex had no idea whether someone was inside the building or if this was something far more sinister. As a result, he was consumed with fear and anxiety over everything he'd been witnessing that night. But he didn't just leave the building. Instead, he built up his courage and went to the top floor to investigate the remaining parts of the building. During his investigation, his ghost hunting equipment did register some bizarre readings. But Alex once again continued the investigation, as his sole purpose for being there was to uncover the truth behind the building. However, as he was investigating one of the rooms, that's when he encountered something that completely changed the course of his investigation.
What the was that? Check what that is, 'cause there's something out there. What the fuck was that? Hello? It's a really loud noise, but... What's that? Let's just change his life. That's creepy, mate, like that. Guys.
If you look closely at the point when Alex walks past the door, you can clearly see a man dressed in all black standing and staring directly at him. However, Alex had no knowledge of the man's presence at the time, as his main focus was on investigating the noises. It wasn't until he went home and reviewed the footage that he noticed the man standing in the room. Fortunately for Alex, just moments after his camera captured the man, he decided to end his investigation and eventually left the building. It's still a mystery who the man was or what his true intentions were, along with whether what Alex encountered that night was paranormal. But based on everything he witnessed during his visit, it's more likely that the man was either a squatter or a homeless individual. And based on the man's actions that night, he probably didn't want anyone inside the building, and in an attempt to scare Alex off, he made those strange noises and loud bangs. But when the man realized that Alex hadn't left the building and was trying to investigate the noise, he ultimately revealed his presence by standing inside the room. But fortunately for Alex, despite being inches away from the man, he wasn't ambushed or attacked, and he managed to escape the potentially dangerous situation without any harm.